meeting in a row, so I'm on my third Red Bull. I should be wired good to midnight.
Well, then we'll just be expecting more, Brad, than usual.
I'm going to just sit here and twitch. It's been a long day.
Yeah, a little bit scary too.
All right. The January 6, 2021 meeting of the Yarmouth Planning Board is about to convene. As a precautionary measure to reduce the spread of the coronavirus, this meeting will be held by remote participation. My name is Kathy Williams, and I am the Yarmouth Town Planner and will be serving as moderator for this virtual meeting. I will now turn it over to the Planning Board Chair.
Welcome to the January 6th, 2021 Planning Board meeting. My name is Joanne Crowley, and I am the chair of the Yarmouth Planning Board. I will begin by taking a roll call to establish quorum. Brad Goodwin?
Present.
Liz Hartsgrove?
Present.
Tom Barron?
Present.
Will Rubenstein?
Present.
Joanne Crowley? Present. And we know that Chris and Susan are not. With the quorum present, I will now call the meeting to order.
Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, this meeting of the Yarmouth Planning Board is being conducted via remote participation. No in-person attendance will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access and participate in the proceedings as provided for in the order. Persons who would like to view this meeting while in progress may do so by watching via this virtual meeting or the live feed on the Town of Yarmouth YouTube channel. You may also listen to the meeting by dialing into the number provided on the notice of meeting. The meeting will also be posted on the Yarmouth YouTube channel for future viewing. Please be patient as we work to overcome any challenges with the virtual meeting. For all meetings, all audience participants enter the virtual meeting muted. Participants will be unmuted if called upon to speak by the chair or moderator. If you are not speaking, please mute yourself to avoid unnecessary background noise. Do not use speakerphone or Bluetooth devices when speaking, and all votes must be roll call votes. For applicants and presenters, there's no agenda items this evening that have applicants or presenters. For public comment, again, none of the items on the agenda this evening are public hearings that require a designated public comment period. However, public comment can be taken at the discretion of the chair. Members of the public may request to speak by selecting the raise hand button or pressing *9 on their phone and waiting for the chair to call on them to speak. Members of the public recognized by the chair are asked to identify themselves by first and last name and affiliation for the public record and then provide their comment. I will now hand the meeting back over to the chair.
Thank you, Kathy. I'd like to start by making a personal statement as a public servant and having been a public servant for a long time. As we meet here tonight, I'm reminded of the great privilege we have to serve the public and our fellow citizens here in the town of Yarmouth without disruption and without any violence. I pray that our leaders in our nation's capital find a way to continue their important deliberations in a safe and secure manner in the near future. With that, I'd like to start the meeting. Kathy, we're going to review community visioning and where we are.
Yeah, I think I'd like to talk a little bit about the messaging, and we'll go over the flyer that was in the packet. Then I'd like to go over some of the publicity plan that I've kind of outlined and kind of go over maybe some things that the planning board members can do to help. And then we can also talk about that implementation schedule and kind of see where we are in that and kind of talk about that a little bit. I'm just going to share my screen if that's okay with everyone for the flyer. Give me a sec here. It's not the right one. And there we go. So I had worked up just a little bit of something trying to get some ideas from the end of our last workshop, number 3, about kind of like a New Year's resolution and starting things off right. One of the things that I did realize that I missed in here was that idea of, take the survey and tell a friend. I think that's certainly something that we can add into the flyer as well. But I didn't know how people kind of felt with regard to the general messaging, and this is kind of where we want to go in the near future.
I've got one suggestion. Because we're limited with size here, and we know size doesn't matter, but that's a story for another day. why don't we take out start the year off right and look toward a better future? Because you're saying make a New Year's resolution and then go right into take the community visioning survey. And that'll give you about another inch to put in whatever else you'd like or give more white space and spacing on the flyer.
So take out the start the year off right, the whole
And
line.
look toward a better future for Yarmouth.
Okay.
I like that.
So we'll just say make a New Year's resolution, take the community visioning survey.
Right, and then you've got another inch to either put in some more educational, whatever you'd like to do, or a bullet point, or just give more white space and space out what you have there.
Do you guys like the idea of having something in there about take the survey and tell a friend, or is there a catchier line that we might want to put in there?
That would make some sense, right? That would make some sense. Get a friend to offer comments too, or something catchy. But take the community visioning survey, bring a friend. It's just like in the days when we had with the drought in the 60s, the joke was take a shower, bring a friend.
Motion to adjourn. Just kidding. Sorry.
Well, you get the idea.
Yes, we do.
I think you could put share and then have the icon that's like social media would be very, I think just having some type of different image to break it up. There's a lot of verbiage. And if you are trying to attract people, I think you just need to, I agree with Brad, taking out the 2 lines will give you space. I think breaking it up quadrant or adding a little bit of a different color, texture, type of background, something, Kathy, if you want to send it to me, I will happily help you with that and restructuring it. I don't know what your time frame is on it, but I think the share button similar to social media share would be easy and tells the message that we want to do.
The only thing on this is I was hoping to get it into the Board of Selectmen packet for their meeting on Tuesday. So if this is something that you might, I would love you to take a look at it, Liz, because I know you will zhuzh it up nicely. I'd be happy to send it to you. It's in I think Publisher. So I'll send that to you. But the idea is just to be sure that we can, and they need it as soon as possible. Technically noon on Wednesdays is now their deadline, but I got permission to give it to them tomorrow morning. So that would be wonderful. I appreciate that.
No
In
problem.
the interest of saving space, is it necessary to use the line, the survey has been extended through January 31st? Is it?
It just, originally it had been through the 15th. That's all. I just wanted people to know. It's up to you guys that it's been extended through the 31st.
We could probably strike it if someone enters it after the 31st. I guess we can't count it, but in the interest of space, that sounds like a good thing. And adding the Facebook icons and other, I think will work nicely, Liz, if you can help us with that.
I just don't, if you guys place these up somewhere, we might need to go back and take them down at some point. I know that everyone had gone up and placed them originally. At least the 31st kind of knows for people not to do it, but that sounds good.
Yep.
So the notification, I don't have that, but it's somewhat similar, and that would just kind of go to the individual emails to the different boards, committees, and associations. I don't know whether you wanted to truncate that back a little bit more. I mean, we could certainly be shorter.
That was the draft email notifications, Kathy?
Correct. Yeah.
Well, in an email, if we were able to, with Liz's help, on this they might be able, would they be able to just click in and shoot it off to Facebook if they wanted to?
We'll put it on Facebook and that type of thing. But
If they
if
wanted
whatever-
to share it though.
yeah, yes, true. If whatever Liz comes, truncates, that certainly can be the wording that we include. We could just, it's very similar in the email notification as to what's here. So if this gets truncated down, it can be very similar for the email notification as
Yeah.
well. It's just the flyer, you're right. You want it to be more eye-catching and less wordy, where I think maybe with the email, we might be able to provide a little bit more information to people just so that they're clear on what we're trying to do.
Okay,
On that point, I would take out the two big bold, make a New Year's resolution to take the community visioning survey, because you've got, I'm looking at my computer screen, the Yarmouth Community Visioning icon right there. And also, if you could switch the words Portuguese and Spanish to the language indigenous to those words.
Yep, that's easy to do. And maybe we can, no worries. Thank you, Brad, for that comment. That was a good one.
No problem.
So we'll just take out the community visioning survey because we already have the icon above it. That's great. We can do that.
It gives you more room again.
Yep. Sounds good.
thank you.
So just to kind of go over some of the things that I've been kind of looking at, I don't know whether every planning board member has taken the survey yet. I haven't done it myself. I'm still simmering my thoughts. But if you can take it and then get two people to take it, as Joanne had said, I think that'll make a very big difference. The flyer, I mean, once we get it finalized, I'd like to get like 10 copies to each planning board member for distribution like you did before. That was, I think, helpful to get that out to the community. I can either mail that to you guys or leave it outside for pickup, or whatever you guys think would be easiest to get the copies to you. I will update the messaging and the website and the constant contact and social media. Kyle had identified a bunch of different additional community groups on Facebook. I also have some additional email addresses from the work that we had done on the Route 6A, and I'll make sure that information gets out to them, as well as to the town employees and the distribution lists. Ask them to send it out to their distribution lists if they would be so kind. The notice is up already on channel 18 and will be up through the end of the month. I'm trying to work with the transfer station to get back up another sandwich board that just emphasizes the survey at the transfer station. I did reach out to the police with regard to their message board. It's being occupied right now, obviously with COVID related things, ironically at the transfer station for the next week or so. Here, I'm gonna stop my sharing for now. So he's gonna check back with me after that to see whether we might be able to have the electronic messaging board put some different places around town. I have been in touch with the library with regard to their pickups and trying to develop small little postcards that they can insert with when people come to pick up their library books, as well as having some of the hard copies of the survey if people are inquiring about distributing them. I've also asked the same thing of Diane Kane at the Senior Center to go into the lunches to see if that's something, the brown bag lunches, to see if that's something that they might be able to do. I have reached out to the Register, and Bronwyn Walsh has indicated that she would be willing to do a feature article, which is, oh, I'm sorry, Tom has got his hand up.
Yeah, Tom?
Well, you were just mentioning Senior Center. We just received, my wife and I, their monthly newsletter, and I went through it in carefully, page by page, and there's no mention of the visioning project there at all. So it's something that I thought, I mean, they're trying to do a promotion, connect within Yarmouth. Connect Yarmouth is their phrase. And we see nothing about the visioning project even mentioned.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to add that.
Yep. I have been sending stuff to Diane. Their publication for their newsletter you have to send stuff in 2.5 months early, and I thought I had missed it. We have been included in the library newsletter, which has been monthly. So it's unfortunate.
Kathy, I have another suggestion as a point of outreach that if it's not on your list, I could help with, and that's the Yarmouth Pantry. I think there might be certainly a corner of the population that we might not otherwise reach. And I'd be more than glad to jump on that and get down there.
Would you be interested in having some hard copies of the survey
Yes.
to distribute?
I think so. And then I don't know, I mean, I've been in there a couple of times, but I don't know if they have a community, a business board or anything like that. I don't know, but I can find out.
One further note, Kathy, you mentioned getting hard copies of the flyer out. You don't need to send to me. I can print on my own printer here and have whatever I need.
So getting back to the feature article, I don't know if anybody else would be interested in speaking with her. Lots of times they like to get multiple takes on it. They don't want to just talk to me. So I don't know if anybody else would be interested.
Will would, yep.
Okay, so if you're comfortable with that, I'll give her your contact information, Will.
I'm a river to my people.
Okay.
You know that movie, You're Old Like Me? Who knows that movie? Tom Barron.
I didn't do it. I give up.
Lawrence of Arabia, Tom, come on.
Yeah, we all saw that just this weekend.
I think that we had talked about, Joanne, maybe another letter to the editor in the Cape Cod Times.
Yes, I will do that as well. Who did you say the contact you have is with the register,
With
right?
the register, yeah, it's
Yeah.
Bronwyn Walsh.
Yeah, okay.
We had sent press releases before to her, but hadn't gotten any response, but she was very responsive to this. So I was very happy to see that.
Okay, so I was remiss in not getting back on the, I had sent one to them and then I let it go. So I'll jump on that again. Sure.
That would be great. And I guess I'm kind of looking for anyone who might be volunteered or interested, Brad, about a radio interview. I can certainly send a press release, and lots of times they'll read the press release. They're very good about that.
Is this being
and they
recorded? Okay, no,
Yeah.
sorry.
And they're usually very enthusiastic when they read the press releases. But sometimes, I mean, they'll call me and we'll do a little quick interview. I'd be happy to do that, but I didn't know if anybody else was interested in doing that.
Kathy, if you just want to send me a quick bullet point, 1, 2, or 3, I'll send it to a couple of the producers and I'll send it to the radio team. If they want to jump on, they will. Make it short and sweet, and I'll send it along.
You know that's not my forte, Brad.
I know. That's why I'm saying short and sweet. Yeah.
Okay.
Kathy, do we have any preliminary information from the consultant on how the survey has been going?
We have 106 respondents.
Thank you.
So I think it was pretty quiet, obviously during the holidays. But I think now getting the word out again is going to be really important. I don't know, Will, also whether you have been coordinating with any minority groups or the police team and getting some word out that way.
I certainly need to do more. So once everything is made beautiful in that most mysterious of programs, Microsoft Publisher, if you guys figure it out, quit your jobs, go on the road and sell publisher solutions, you'll make $1 billion. But once that's done, I will.
Perfect. And the only other thing I had been thinking about gets back to the schools. And I don't know whether this, and I'm going to reach out to Carol and Eileen to see whether the kids couldn't complete the survey as part of, there must be some classes that they're taking there, whether there's civic engagement or something like that, where they might be able to take the survey either outside of school or even as part of the school program in order to get some additional comments from younger people.
But some of the students are from Dennis. Yes,
Well, they still spend
yeah.
a lot of time in Yarmouth.
Yes, and they're fine students, Brad.
I didn't say Will, I'm glad you're speaking for us on the newspaper.
Oh, God.
That was great.
Sorry, as Joanne so eloquently said, it's been a hard day. I mean, Joanne said it way nicer than I was going to say it, so that's why I'm a little.
Hey, I'm on 3 Red Bulls. I'm right there with you.
Well,
But I'm thinking that may be if you're in the high schools, it's going to get a mix of Dennis, Yarmouth, and also those who have opt in from other school districts.
Yeah, but doesn't the survey allow you to say whether you live, work, or play here?
Yeah.
I mean, you're right, Tom. I mean, Brad, somebody.
Well, I think the idea is if there is a civics course of some kind or some kind of segment of the curriculum that might be able to accommodate this as a mini project, that might be kind of fun because it would be real. And
Yeah, it's
I'm
real
not
life.
sure if you've got connections to the principal or who might be the best person to call. Kathy, were you gonna?
I can reach out to Carol Woodbury.
Yeah, the
And
superintendent. Yeah.
see, see if that's something that they would be willing to do. And I can also, in the messaging that we send to them, encourage that it's not just meant for the families, but we want the kids to take it too. And so maybe they can take it outside of the school and just do it as part of a family endeavor.
Yeah. Okay.
And if you hear something from Carol and you need some help, we can also help.
Yeah.
If that.
They're pretty good. Carol's usually fairly responsive. So, but I will definitely reach out if things start going awry. So the only other thing, and I don't know whether we want to talk about the schedule, but one of the things that was on the schedule had to do with, I can share that with everybody. It had to do with if we weren't getting a lot of responses, is maybe looking at stakeholder roundtables. It's a little difficult to do. I'm not really sure what type of groups we might be interested in doing that with. I know that like for the water resource group, they actually went to different, association meetings and that type of thing. I think that might be a little bit more difficult to do. I'd like to think that we've hit all of those people who are interested in participating in the workshops. The idea is hopefully that with this extra push on the survey, we'll get more people actually completing the survey. But what's shown here in the implementation schedule is just kind of where we stand with things. And I have talked to Krista Moravec from Horsley Witten. We're hoping to, I've already sent her all of the responses and the notes from the different workshops. And once we have the information from the survey, she's thinking that it will take them a little while to process that. And they're hoping to have something to us by early to mid March, which kind of summarizes the comments and comes up with the different general themes. And then that's what the planning board would then utilize to come up with our kind of vision, our draft vision statement, as well as the draft vision plan with the goals and some general objectives.
Kathy, when you say the stakeholders, have anyone been identified, or what sort of stakeholder involvement or participation? What sort of diversity among that group? How would you define it? How would you? How would we proceed?
I think it was more along the lines of kind of what part of the community isn't being represented. I know there's been the business community, I don't think has been very well represented. I have had some conversations with Mary Vilbon about that, and it's kind of a little bit difficult engaging with the business community right now, she indicated, because I think they kind of are focusing on some other issues at this time. But that's the only thing I could think of, is maybe trying to schedule something if there's some interest from the business community, because I feel like they have not been overly represented.
Okay.
A stakeholder group would be a meeting. Ideally, would be 5 to 10 people, that we would be talking to? Less than that? More than that? What do you, more?
It could have been done in, I guess, multiple different ways. I mean, each individual planning board member could have gone to a small little stakeholder group and kind of run a mini workshop. I mean, that could have been something. Or if you're going to have the business community, I think you'd want to have, you know, maybe even similar to what we had before, depending on how many people would be interested.
Joanne, there's
Yes.
usually it is, you do an invitation to the chamber or like a business guild and reach out and have a specific one just for their members. And then another option, I just lost it in my brain. And it'll come back to me. I'm sorry. But yeah, there's different variations of people that we can do an invitation to and invite. And Kathy's right, it could be a small group. Oh, the Rotary would be another one on Friday morning that we would actually occupy their time and do a roundtable type of moment with them. And so, you know, organizations like that, where they have a strong presence in our community and they have a strong dynamic, and I think that would be smart of us to at least attempt. So we make sure that we do our due diligence.
So with regard to the Rotary, they have very short meetings because they're trying to get them in before the start of their business day. I did meet with the Rotary on October 30th, and I think really to encourage people to participate in the workshops, and I did get some comments from them. But if we were going to do the Rotary, I think it would have to be a little bit of more of a truncated version of it. With regard to the businesses, I don't know. I think it is a formal invitation, but I don't know whether it would be a case of we would just set up something very similar to what we had before with regard to the workshop, but it would just be for the business leaders, so to speak. That's something that we could probably easily do.
Yeah, with the restaurant association, because Yarmouth has a very strong restaurant association as well. So you could do, you know, a collaborative meeting for just the business owners. And just have a designated time that works well for them based upon what their executive directors determine would work for them best. And then we just open it up and then hope that we can get at least 20 people would be sufficient. And it's the same thing with the Rotary, that they do a little, like we do another elevator pitch and for them on a Friday, and then just say, you know, here it is, we're offering whatever day. And it's just for the Rotary members type of thing. Or we can combine it with the actual chamber members. So
that might not be a bad idea to do a combination with the Rotary, because like I said, I don't think we could do it like within one of their regular meetings. So inviting them to that and kind of streamlining it to business owners. A lot of the Rotary members are also business owners as well. So I like the idea of doing something along those lines. I don't know when everyone, obviously we'll try and see what the timeline is, but it may not be something, depending on availability, maybe it's like the end of January or the beginning of February kind of thing.
Well,
and I'm assuming, go ahead.
If you can get either group, I'll be happy to flip-flop my day around, just because I think those are very vital groups. Thank you, Liz, for bringing up Rotary. I was going to jump in with the restaurant and go with Tom Murphy and get his people. But just to, there's one little inkling that when you're doing CPR and you're in a group, you always stare at one person and say something like, Henry, dial 911. Because if you just yell out, dial 911, everybody stares at each other. So I'm wondering if you invite 15 people directly, we would like you to be on this call. They may feel more special than just sending out a general, but that's just off the top of my balding head. But I think both of those groups would be great. Again, if you set it far enough in advance, I'll be happy to flip-flop my day, even if it's meeting at 7:30 in the morning.
Oh, thank you, Brad.
Well, thank you for the ideas to Liz and Kathy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kathy,
I think
Kath,
the
do we have,
invitations are good.
yeah, do we, as Tom, I'm going to follow up with Tom's question. The stakeholders, do we have a list of who we think those groups are?
I think stakeholders can be a lot of different things. It could be the school community. It could be, people who are interested in housing. I mean, a lot of those groups we've been trying to encourage as part of our outreach for the workshops and the survey that we have now. I just feel like in seeing some of the responses we're getting back is, maybe the schools, and the kids, and then also maybe the businesses
Okay,
aren't quite
so-
being reached.
Okay, so those are the two gaps you've identified so far that are pretty prominent. Okay. And that, in terms of the schedule, falls in the January, February time zone, if I'm looking at that right.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So we're doing a lot. Then we'll have to be doing a lot of processing from Jose Witten's part, and then it's really taking what they've digested and turning it into our vision statement and vision plan, which then would again be vetted in the spring with another survey and workshop.
Okay. Any other questions on the schedule or the information we're going to get out and the stakeholder listings? We're good on that? Okay.
Yeah, I just actually wanted to just mention that I thought it was really beneficial to appear before the selectmen and give them an update on it. That was huge because everybody grabs their popcorn on Tuesday evenings and watches, and it was a nice plug for us. So, so I think that might be something that I don't mind doing, or if somebody else, they might get bored seeing my face and hearing my voice. But I think having a little team effort of one of us every month, giving them an update, maybe on the last meeting of their month, just showing up during public comment. It's at the beginning, and we can request being at the beginning of the very beginning of it before the others dive in to their public comment portions. So I think it's only going to help us. So
yeah, and I want to thank you again for jumping in on that so spontaneously. You did a great job. Let me do this. I will reach out to Mark Forrest and find out how best we can lock in a time slot, if that's possible, and whether or not want to make sure he's comfortable with that, since that segment is meant for the public, but I consider myself the public.
yeah, I know that even in the past, I think Joyce from the Energy Committee in CLC or
Yeah.
the Cape Light Compact, she would always give an update during public comment. And I think this is a long process. This is a 2-year investment that we're asking our community to be engaged in. So in order for us to keep their attention and their awareness, and that we have to be able to do that and just update them. So it's not like they didn't know.
Oh yeah, we can't have that excuse, of course. But you're absolutely right. Single-use plastics used to find the group that had that, they would find their way on there at least once a month. So very, very good idea. So I will make a point of reaching out to Mark Forrest and organizing some kind of schedule for that, if that's okay with everybody. Okay.
Sounds great.
I would be willing to volunteer for one of those.
Well, you're usually there, Tom.
Well, not lately.
No, but
They've been, yeah. If they allow public attendance, yeah, I'm usually there, and I would be more than willing to stay. But if they're doing it virtual, like as it is now, I'd still be willing to jump in.
Okay.
But the idea is yes.
Yeah, I think it's going to be virtual for a little while.
yeah. So we'll just learn how to be a pest. That's a good thing.
There
That's
you
not
go.
a bad thing. That's not a bad thing.
The squeaking wheel gets the
Yeah.
grease.
I just want to do a time check because we need to be able to approve minutes while Liz is still here. Otherwise, we won't have, because some people, no, I guess it's Chris and Susan were the only two that we need to worry about for minutes anyway. So we'll have enough. We'll have enough to
You can take it out of order if you'd like. It's up to you.
Well, the planning board report, I think, is going to go pretty quickly. So let's move to this second item on our agenda, our annual report. Thank you for the comments and good participation by everyone on that. Thanks for being our soul, Liz, and thanks for being our copy editor, Brad. Two key roles, and thank you, Kathy, for crafting it and all the work that you do for us. We really appreciate it. So thank you.
Thank you, guys. It's a long, like Liz says, it's going to be a long 2 years.
Any other comments on the annual report? Okay.
Move
No
to
formal
approve.
approval is required for that, Kathy?
No.
No.
Second.
Okay.
Sorry, just in case.
That was fast. That was impressive.
Oh.
Madam
Okay.
Chair,
Yes.
I have 10 minutes left, and I just have one item that I need to bring up and make sure that I do discuss it and bring it to the board's attention while we have it. Our representation updates on boards. The Community Preservation Committee, we've been meeting not as frequently as the Capital Budget Committee, but it seems like it, where we have been meeting every week. And on top of all of our visioning, December was a long month of meetings. So one of the hot topics that I see churning a little bit that I want to bring to your attention is the splash pad, the proposed splash pad that is before request for CPC money. It was a priority of identified priorities of one of the selectmen for this current fiscal year's goals. I did not see much, I didn't see unanimous or majority, I don't believe, support for it, but however, it's still a goal that's identified in their actual goals list. And there is some interesting conversations going on that I want to make sure that you guys just take a look at it, keep your ears open, and get some education on it, because it'll be something that I believe planning will have to weigh in on, whether it's the right location, whether it's whatever, if it's right for the future of Yarmouth. So it's being proposed at Sandy Pond, and which is in West Yarmouth, as we know, and it is in close proximity to where the water park is. And I do not, well, in close, it's in the same village, and there's a lot of conversation going on, and that is some of the topics that I'm just bringing to your attention that have been airing out. And also Recreation Committee, I guess, has not been really much included in it. So I want to make sure that we are staying on top of it, and we have at least an opportunity to think about it and then possibly address it in the future before the town
Is
meeting.
there a link you can send where there's information we can at least read?
Yes, I can get that stuff, or Kathy can assist me in getting that information. Through the CPC, Community Development Department has all of that background information. The CPC committee is moving forward with a vote to bring it to the warrant. However, they're leaving it for the town meeting voters. It was tabled at the fall town meeting. That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's not the problem. What happened was it got tabled at the fall town meeting for the spring. So it is out of our hands from actually voting not to recommend it. So it's still on the warrant and being allowed for voters to make that final decision. But I don't know what the process is. I know it has internally changed since I was a staff member in the administration office, where I am not sure if it is allowed for planning board to review all of the articles still, even if it doesn't pertain to us, and giving us a chance to weigh in on things. I don't know if, Kathy, maybe you can help.
That hasn't happened since I've been here with the planning board. I know that if there were certain things where people wanted input from the planning board, or there were certain topics that had a planning skew to them that the planning board has commented on them? Like I know they wrote a letter of support for the wastewater, for example, that type of thing. But I don't, not since I've been here. Do you think that someone's going to ask for the planning board for their input? Or you think it's going to be something that someone might be looking for at town meeting?
I think they're just going to get support. They're going to, my assumption, my gut feeling from just what I've heard so far is that they're going to look for support in any way, shape, or form. And that might come to us.
Who is they?
Pros and cons.
Okay.
Okay.
And it
Liz?
is an actual CPA request.
It
That's
was
been-
filed by the town on
Mhm.
behalf of the selectmen.
Yep.
And as part of their goals. So it was the town administrator / DPW that filed the application. It is a town represented. So it's not sanctioned by a private organization or any type of
Or nonprofit of some kind.
organized. Yep.
But it has already gone through the gauntlet of CPA review and was on the warrant initially for this fall.
Correct. And so
Yeah.
there is another basically bite at the apple for the spring. And the warrant is now officially, I think, closed as of Tuesday. Was it closed for
Yeah.
articles?
I think
It
so,
closed on
yeah.
the 26th.
Right. So, so now it's a time for weighing in on those. So it might be it'll be reviewed at the selectmen's meetings. It'll be reviewed. It'll be coming up at the annual town meeting. So just bringing
Okay.
that to your attention. That
Great,
I'm seeing
thank
it
you.
move.
Liz,
Yes, Tom?
Liz, you said that Recreation Committee has not been that enthusiastic about it, or what was your comment there?
Yeah, the Recreation Commission member, the representative, Debbie Clark, she has voiced concern that they have not been active participant and engaged in the process. They have not been included in any of the plans, and this was not something that they were in favor of. So that is what you can see from the meetings. I'm not trying to put words in anybody's mouth, but you can watch the meetings and read the minutes. And that is what my notes also say. So
I guess
All
my
right,
only
thank you.
comment would be that the splash pad as well as an accessible playground were all part of the Sandy Pond master plan. They didn't have enough money, or the CPA didn't look like they were going to have enough money. This was like probably a year and a half ago, maybe longer, to be able to do the full project. So they did meet with the Recreation Commission, and they were more interested, if you had to do it in phases, that they wanted to do the inclusive playground ahead of the splash pad. That's when it became an issue where one of the selectmen really were pushing the splash pad. So they converted it from the phase 1B, including the inclusive playground, to including the splash pad. I think the Recreation Commission was very involved in the comprehensive master planning for Sandy Pond. They may not have been as involved with the phasing of it, which might be why there's some concerns.
I participate, and that's what I hear is what is in front of me. So I'm reporting it to our board, but I'm just letting you know that I recommend that you guys get familiar with the projects that are before CPC, all of them. There are some really good ones, historic ones, and of course, affordable housing that's coming up. So I think it's really important that you guys get familiar with those applications that are going to be on the warrant.
Okay, great. Thank you, Liz. Okay, so we'll jump back to meeting minutes. And we'll take them separately. Can I have a motion to accept the minutes of December 2nd, 2020?
Could we have a discussion on December 22nd first?
No, we're doing December 2nd.
December 2nd, yes. Could we
Yes.
have a
Yes, we may.
discussion?
Yep, go ahead.
I don't, I'm not taking any exception to the way it's been prepared and written. but the bulk of that meeting was the preliminary subdivision and the response that we got out of the public during the meeting. And then subsequent to that, we all received the information that Kathy forwarded on the number of people that petitioned against the project, over 70 people. And all I'm asking is, should there be some mention of that outpouring of negative information, negative sentiment on the project?
I'd like to suggest as part of the minute, Tom, it not be included because it was not discussed. If you would like to make it part of tonight's minute to recognize that a petition was filed, we can
Okay.
do that and we will
That's
attach.
fine. Yeah, that's fine. Understood.
You can
Thank
do
you.
that as part, if you would like, under your comments later.
Yeah.
That's how we'll handle it.
Very good.
May I have a voice vote here?
Who did the motion and seconded it? I don't.
I made a motion to accept.
Thank you, Brad.
Thank you, Brad. Tom Barron,
Aye.
Brad Goodwin,
Aye.
Liz Hartsgrove, I think has left,
She had to leave.
Will Rubenstein,
Aye.
and Joanne Crowley. Yes. The minutes of December 7th. May I have a motion to accept?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Seconded? All in favor? Roll call again. Brad Goodwin?
I agree. Yes.
Yeah. Will Rubenstein?
Aye.
Joanne Crowley, aye. Tom Barron?
Aye.
Okay. May I have a motion to accept the minutes of December 15th?
I would love to make that motion, Madam Chair.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Tom Barron?
Aye.
Brad Goodwin?
Aye.
Will Rubenstein?
Aye.
Joanne Crowley, yes. Okay. Thank you. Kathy, anything on a zoning board of appeals items that you want to, you need to share with us?
They're going to be meeting on the 14th, I believe, and they
next
are
Thursday.
going to have the middle school on their agenda.
Well, I've got their agenda in front of me. They're talking about the increasing parking in front of the existing building. This is the administration building, and to encroach on the required buffer for fire access, for the fire access driveway, and other variances. So it's an important item in that regard. But without having any other information, it just says to increase the parking and encroach on a buffer for that. There are a couple other items on their agenda. One is for a new building construction, new house construction, and a raise and replace. And also another item that's being tabled for lack of action.
Okay.
I think as an educational use, I think the middle school, that they really can't deny those particular types of relief that they're looking for. I just see it being a little bit more perfunctory because it is an educational use and protected by the Dover amendments.
Okay. Committee updates. We had the committee update from Liz. Any other committee updates? Will? Been quiet? Okay.
After a very, very, very busy month of December, the CBC is chilling.
All right. Yes, Tom.
Lo and behold, Land Disposition Committee is finally going to have its first meeting on the 19th, and I've been pushing for this for a year and a half, so I'm glad to report it. Also, the Water Resources Committee, as I see it right now, has no immediate schedule that I'm aware of. I think Kyle has a Zoom meeting planned, but other than that, right now, I don't have anything further.
Okay,
May I
thank
ask
you.
a quick follow-up, Madam Chair?
Yes, please.
So the select board, since we last met, voted to approve the wastewater
The
trilateral
DHY
commission.
agreement.
Right. Do we know, Tom, how to stay up to date on the status of the other towns? Is that through, I mean, obviously we could do our own research, but can you give us a thumbnail? Because I know Harwich had some stuff, but I was wondering if you knew anything about Dennis.
The schedule called for all three communities to agree in the month of December to go ahead with the Tri-Town group. Harwich is not dragging their feet by any means, but they are readjusting some of their own internal priorities, but they are still, as far as I know, full participant in the Tri-Town effort. Dennis has already expressed that earlier, and so the formal vote in December was needed by all three towns in order to proceed. Now, this was a big step all the way around for everyone.
Understood. But are you saying that there were 3 votes in all 3 towns? Because I missed that.
There had to be
Those holidays.
3 positive votes in all
Okay.
3 towns.
Thank you.
Yes.
I apologize. I had missed the other 2, and that is exactly why I asked the question. Thank you, Madam Chair, for indulging me.
Yeah, but if you recall, there was just before they took their vote, they had requested an open forum for people to have a Zoom meeting to express their interest. And they had over 80
Oh,
participants.
no, I was on that call too, Tom. I meant, I was just more curious about, did the other towns get in December
Yes.
with a
Yeah.
formal vote? And I
Yeah.
appreciate you
Yeah.
correcting that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Brad, any committee?
I just texted a member of the Harwich Select Board. I'll see if I get an answer back before we duck off.
Thank you.
Mary Wigan does with paper products what Kathy does with words. I have so much paper from these committees that I think I'm starting my own WB Mason. I'm kidding, but not really. So yes, it's been a lot of work, fun. Mary's brilliant, but a lot of reading. Long story short, the only thing that really made their eyes pop a little bit on one of the committees is the Davenport subdivision made its way to Mary's desk, because obviously there's the right of affordable housing in there. A couple of the members got their dander up that Mr. Davenport's people may consider it in lieu of. And so we had to explain to them that they had that right, and the affordable housing people didn't have a right to say, oh, no, you can't. And then we went from there. But for the most part, it's just been a slow go, working its way through the new project in West Yarmouth on Route 28 for affordable housing.
Okay, great. Quick report out on CEDC. We've approved most of the tourism grant requests. We have one outstanding that we're going to be reviewing this month, and it's regarding what I'll call dueling parades. We have our fingers crossed that by September, parades will be back in Yarmouth. The St. Patrick's Day Parade is scheduled in September. I believe it's the 3rd week in September. I don't remember the exact date. And we're just going to pretend it's St. Patrick's Day then, which is easy for someone like me. And the annual Yarmouth Festival, Seaside Festival, typically has a somewhat smaller parade, but a parade nonetheless that they are very proud of. So we're meeting with Seaside Festival folks to understand better, because we approving 2 plans with parades 2 weeks apart might not be the smartest thing to do, but we're going to talk with them about that. So we've got two really good things to talk about, two different parades. So
Can I make a suggestion? I apologize. One of the carrots and sticks of applying for the grant for the CEDC is if you get money from the town, they make you pay for police and fire and EMT coverage. So sometimes it's better, I've said to both parade people, to step back and not accept the dollars from CEDC and ask for free police, fire, and EMT. So you can always bring that up to them when they're talking to you.
yeah, that is one of the most sensitive subjects that we talk with both of those groups, and when we've had other requirements that other tourism grant recipients who required police details. Papalooza, when we had it over at the high school, required police. They are not free.
I know, but it's
yeah.
it's one or the other. The town has that predicament. The police and fire will donate if they don't get, or you have the right to ask for donated time if you don't get money from the town. If you get money from the town, you don't have the right to ask for donated police and fire.
Yeah, that's exactly that's a good point. We have suggested that the revolving fund of tourism funds going to pay police, one hand kind of washing the other, one town pot paying another doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense. But that one is, in fact, one of the grant recipients structured their plan so that they would not include costs for police, which is just what you're suggesting, if I'm hearing you correctly, Brad. Don't ask for it, and then try to get it another way. So that's good advice. I'll bring that back up to the CEDC committee. The members there are well seasoned in this, more so than I am. So people like the chair and others will, I'm sure, we've even met with the police. So thank you for that. Any other board items? Tom, you might want to bring up your board item now with regard to the petition.
Yes, okay. In effect, it's a comment on the follow-up or the aftermath of the December 2nd planning board meeting, where we concentrated our effort on the preliminary subdivision on Route 6A. And following that meeting, during the meeting, there was some public participation, but following that, there was a petition drive by the general neighborhood, and as Kathy had sent to all of us, there was 70 petitioners who were in effect objecting to some of the safety issues on Route 6A put forth by that proposal.
So if it's okay with you, Tom, what I think the process might be is that we include it in the minute, and therefore we are making a public acknowledgement of a receipt of it, and that we're aware of it. And thank you for those comments.
That's acceptable. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
That's fine. That's fine.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Any other staff updates or other board member items, correspondence, Kath?
I have some staff updates.
Okay.
There's been
And
some
I have
things.
one question on correspondence that we can pick up on
Okay.
at some point.
Just to kind of let people know that there's been this combination study being done by HAC and APCC, and what they're trying to do is identify locations in all of the 15 towns where housing might be appropriate that doesn't have negative environmental impacts. They just met, and we just saw the mapping very recently, and we met with them on Tuesday with staff and had some comments to them. But we also inquired as to who else they were going to be talking to, and they made it sound like eventually they're going to be coming to a bunch of different groups, including the planning board, to kind of talk about it in a little bit more detail. The idea of the maps is to give towns an idea of a program that's done through the Cape Cod Commission. A lot of the mapping and a lot of the criteria is very, very similar to the criteria and mapping done by the commission during the RPP update. So that's
Okay.
something you might be seeing in the future, and I wanted to let you know about that. The FEMA National Flood Insurance Program has come up with some modifications of some of the things that they want included in our bylaws in order to maintain us as upstanding members of the flood insurance program. So there may be some edits that we need to do to the zoning bylaw and or the rules and regulations governing the subdivision of land sometime in 2021 to be sure that we're comfortable there. There is just, and I'm sure you might have heard some rumblings, and I just want you guys to know about it, that there is a pending development of regional impact going to the Cape Cod Commission. It's going to be referred to as soon as we get an informal site plan review submission, be a mandatory referral to the commission for what is proposed as a 120-foot cell phone tower at the Our Lady of the Highway, which is at right there by the Dunkin' Donuts, the four corners there with the post office. 120 foot.
I saw their test balloon on that site a month or so ago.
Yeah, they had to do that for the Cape Cod Commission so they could do their photo representations to see what it would look like. This is being done by a company that did a similar DRI process over in Mashpee. It looked like their site was a lot more isolated than the site here, which is right on Route 28. So I don't know how familiar you guys are, but when something's a mandatory DRI process, everything at the town level stops. It goes to the commission, they do their stuff, and then it comes to the town for permitting. And one of the last things is I've been talking to Mary Wagon, and it looks like she's going to start the process for, this is more work for Brad, of updating the housing production plan that was completed in 2016. I think it needs to be updated every 5 years. This might be an opportunity to get some more specific information and survey results regarding to housing topics that can be utilized as within our local comprehensive plan. It's a little bit of the cart before the horse, but I think this is a good opportunity to get a little more information and help us with our local comprehensive plan. And that's my updates.
Okay. Anything else? All right. On that subject of housing, Kathy, you sent us the town of Barnstable and their zoning changes that they're recommending to the council on, and they relate to affordable housing, if I read it right. Is that something we should be paying a little bit of attention to, I guess? They're changing percentages.
My understanding is that there's a developer who wants to use a certain type of tax credit. And in order to do that, they can't have more than 80% market rate. So 20%, no more than 20% affordable. The Barnstable regulations require 25%.
Yeah.
So I believe they wanted to change that down to 18%. And they
18, yep.
Yeah, and they also wanted to modify the median income, I think, from 65% down to 50%. So there might be less affordable housing, but they're increasing the number of people who would be eligible for using it. And I think the other one was just adding in a parcel of land to an overlay district so they could take advantage of that land with regard to density, but they weren't going to develop on it, but they wanted that acreage for density.
Yeah, and it was really the first one. Okay, that clarifies quite a bit. Okay, yes, Tom.
Kathy, I have only one question. Why is there no activity on the Parker River Bridge?
They had an issue with when they temporarily relocated the overhead utilities on the north side of the bridge. The wires were still too close to where they needed to install the sheeting, because they needed to install the sheeting a little bit further north. So they had to have Eversource come out, and I believe they teed them off to the other side, to the north side, to give that extra distance for the sheeting installation. They just did that in December 28th, so they should be back. They should be back at it this week.
Okay.
They did get a time of year restriction extension of 3 weeks to help finish up that work because of that
Okay.
delay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ken. Okay, our next planning board meeting is the 20th. Hope to see all of you there. And so I'd like to call for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Nope.
Second.
Thank you. Voice vote again. Brad Goodwin,
Agreed, approved.
Tom Barron,
Aye.
Will Rubenstein,
Hi.
Joanne Crowley, yes. Okay, thanks very much, everyone.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you, everybody.
Yep, see you in
Bye.
a couple of weeks.
Thank you all very much.
Good night.